Alrighty. Now we put everything in mono. We've gained stage. What else? Hold on. We put everything in mono. We've gained stage. We found our rough balance. And we did our mix down compression. And now it's time to EQ. And now EQ is another one of my favorites because like everything's on top of each other. So you get to see the power of EQ. And I like to start on the sound that's furthest in the back and let all the other sounds that are in front of the mix be courteous to that one because the sound that's furthest in the back can normally get, you know, drowned out from the rest of the sounds. But since we also found our balance, it's not going to be that difficult to keep it from being drowned out because our balance is pretty good. So my background sound is the main background sound. So I'm just gonna get started on that one. I'm gonna solo it from everything else and begin mixing it. And so the first thing I want to do is take out the bass, put a high pass filter on it. First, I'm gonna let it play so you can hear it. And we don't need all this bass. When we take all this bass out, we leave room for the bass to play. So that they sound even clearer and hit harder or neater, I should say. I don't know if you heard me over the sound, but um, us taking out the low end of this sound leaves room for the kick and the 808 to do their thing and sound neat when they're doing it because they're not having to fight our main background noise to have that low end. So we're taking out the low end, and until we're taking out the low end until it sounds thin, and then we'll bring some back to where it doesn't sound thin anymore, but it does not have low end. So let's get into it. All right, so that sounds pretty good to me. And now, something you want to make sure you always do after you get done EQing is to make sure that you bring the volume back to the sound. Because as we're EQing, we're taking some of that volume from it away. So after this whole EQ part right here, we're gonna have to make sure we use the volume adjuster or the volume gain inside of the plugin that we're using to affect the sound. We're gonna use that volume uh, knob inside of the plugin to bring back whatever amount of volume we took away. All right, but let's finish with the rest of it, the rest of the EQ process. And so now that we took the low end out, um, we're gonna take out some mud. And this is just a part where there's a lot of frequencies that this is a spot where a lot of frequencies just clash and it sounds like a mess. And let me just show you. And it's in the 250 hertz area. So let me show you real quick. You hear all this frequency, all the frequencies come together to where it sounds muffled pretty much. That's that's the mud. And you want to take that out. I normally take out -3 dB just so that it takes away and handles that sound and we still keep the natural sound of our instrument. And plus, we don't need to do a whole lot of there's nothing you don't need to do a whole lot of things in the mixing process. You don't need to make huge changes, just little adjustments here and there. And so -3 is pretty good, but it's also on your preference. So let's get into it. All right. Now, the next spot that we're going to hit is around the 500 hertz area. And this area sound has a sound that sounds like you are covering your mouth with your hand. And you don't want that. It's just a frequency that doesn't sound good. So we do the same thing. We take out -3 dB after you adjust the Q to however much you want to adjust it to. And the Q is just the length, or I guess the narrowness of this, whatever you want to call it. You're adjusting the width of that. That's the Q. And this is how we find the frequency. But we're going to be around the 500 hertz area where it has that boxy mouth covering with your hand type sound. So let's get into that. Let me bring this back down first. See how you're even able to hear it a whole lot better whenever you adjust the Q to be more narrow. You can really hear the boxy sound, the sound that sounds like you're covering your mouth with your hand. So all we're going to do is take that down 3 dB. Alrighty. And so the next frequency, this one, it's kind of tricky to find this one, but it stays in between the 1K and 2K kilohertz section. And it has like a radio type of sound, like a old time radio type of sound or video game type of sound. And that's a sound that you want to take away. That's a frequency you want to take away, or, bring down to -3 dB, take down some. So we're going to find that right now. Okay, we found it, and it also even sounds kind of airy as well. I feel like this probably depends on the type of sound you're hearing, but it all has a radio type of sound. It has like this weird cheap sound. That's what I should call it. It's a cheap sound. It sounds like it's a cheap version of the sound that you are mixing. And this is the area it is for this sound. And so I'm just going to bring that down -3 dB. And that's all the main areas, the problem spots, the hot spots that we can hit to make our sound even better than what it was before the EQ process. And so now what we're gonna do is we're gonna see where the volume was before we even EQ'd. So let's get into that, and then we're just gonna add the volume back inside of the plugin. Use the gain inside of the plugin to bring back its volume. Remember, we don't ever touch the faders. The faders are only for balance. That's the only reason why we'd ever touch the faders again, is if we want to adjust something. So let's get back into it. Alrighty, so that's good. That's good on that part. So now we can add the next instrument. And the next instrument I would like, uh, let's go ahead and knock this phone vibrating thing out. That was kind of out of the way, but let's just knock that out. I didn't mean to go to that. And it's going to be the same process. And so I'm kind of just going to flow right through it right now, but just know it's going to be the same process. Oh, yes, I need to remind you. You also want to make sure that when you are EQing after your first sound and you add the other sound, have them both playing at the same time, because as you're EQing, um, you're making sure that they're all playing a part with each other. So, because if you EQ one by one, then there's a chance that though that sound may sound good by itself, it doesn't sound good with the rest of the sounds. So EQing and adding each sound one by one gives it all a chance. Well, it makes them all play with each other. So you have to adjust and accommodate for one sound because maybe there's too much high end on this one. So you need to cut the high end on this one so that the other sound can shine as well. And something I've learned is that it's like you want them all to shine. You want them all to be able to be heard. Every part, every instrument needs to be heard. And so you find a rough balance to have them all be able to shine, and then EQ also brings it to where you make even more room. You're sculpting each sound to fit the other one like a puzzle piece. So right now, I'm gonna get back into EQing this vibrating phone and making sure it's playing good with the main background sound, and then I'm gonna continue to do that with each sound. but of course. And it's also okay to check on it, like mute it and see what you got going on as well to like see exactly what you're hearing. But make sure that you're not EQing it solo the whole time. It's good to jump back and forth to know what you're working with. With this hi hat, there's not much we have to do because it's all of its frequencies are more in the higher range, and so all we need to do really is put on a high pass and go from there. But not all hi hats sound like this one, and so just be your own judge as to how much you want to high pass off the low ends. Um, but there's not much we need to do to this one. Just high pass and make sure we bring back the volume of any that's taken. And I think I'm gonna keep some of that 250 range, that kind of muffled, muddy sound. I think I'm gonna keep some of it just because I like the way it sounds for the snare. So I'm gonna keep some of it, or I might adjust its frequency. But to me, that sounds. I kind of like the way it sounds, so I might have to adjust the frequency or just kind of bring it down some. able to hear the difference though? Now that we've EQ'd the snare, are you able to hear the difference between the snare and whenever it's EQ'd and when it's not? Check it out. When it's not EQ'd. Compared to when it is. It sounds a lot cleaner and more clear. Yeah, that sounds a lot better to me. And that's taking out the low end and the muddy area, made it so that it's able to be more clear and more cleaner, more neat, more tight is the word I'm looking for. It's more tight and clear. But now that we got those out of the way, now I want to get into the kick and the bass. And now these are a bit different because we're going to be doing the opposite. Instead of low pass, we're going to be doing high pass. We're not even going to be doing high pass. What we're doing is it's pretty much the same thing. I take that back. Excuse me. I'm sorry. I was thinking of something else, but it's pretty much the same thing. We're going to high pass with the kick. We're going to end up high passing some of the low end out, which sounds weird, but it's all to make it more neater and gives more room to the 808 or the bass, whichever one you want to call it. We're going to high pass up to 60 hertz, but let me play everything while it's going. High pass up to 60 hertz. Okay, and I made the steep. I made the cutoff more steep so that we're able to really have that kick really hit, and it kind of sounds like it's more firm, I guess you can say, or more neat, and it leaves more room for the 808 when it's time for 808 to play. And so now that I took that out, we're gonna go check the rest of the hot spots. We don't necessarily need to go all the way up here just because it's already a low end and the majority of its sound is here. But I mean, it's all up to you. You're the judge of that. I still may go in there just to check to see what's going on up there, but you don't necessarily need to be in that range. But I would just check, see what's going on there. If there's something you want to check out, then you can take it out. But let's get to the 250 hertz right now. Now these are all subtle changes, but they do paint a bigger picture. But right now, it's kind of hard to hear, but the kick when it's EQ'd, it sounds a lot neater than when it wasn't. Let me see if I can get that for you again. All right, yeah. Now we're gonna move on to the 808.
Who gets to that?
You.
What's going on?
So. Oh yeah, I'm gonna be recording in a little bit. It's gonna be the small part.
Go fast and you're gonna get a beat selection in the background.
All right, so the 808, we're gonna take out up to 30 hertz because anything underneath 30 hertz is you can't really hear it. It gives you a feel instead. It kind of gives it a wobbly, sloppy feel. So to make the 808 sound neater, we take out all the way up to 30 hertz. And then we're just gonna do the same process again that we've done with the kick and the rest of the instruments. Oh no, I mean I have it doing like I can cut it off wherever I'm trying to record, and then I can put it back on whenever I'm recording, as it's recording the video.
Yeah, but it's like, all right, starting.
Oh, sorry. Okay. All righty, about to get back to it. Yes, ma'am. All right, now that we got all the rest of the instruments EQ'd, we can just check how that sounds as well. Everything sounds all muffled, and yeah, everything just sounds all muffled, not neat at all. It doesn't really sound clear any at all. And so whenever we EQ, everything is going to be brought up front, more clear, and more neater. Even the 808 doesn't even have that sloppy, wobbly feel anymore. Yeah, I'd say it even resonates a whole lot more, a whole lot better than it did before. It's just AB it. See how the end, that wobbly end at the beginning, I mean at the end, whenever it's not EQ'd. It's not as bad as I thought it was, but whenever you EQ, you can tell a difference. It holds up a lot better. And like these are small changes, but they do paint a bigger picture. Mixing is just a bunch of tightening, small tightening, detailed issues. There's no need to make big changes, because if you do need to make big changes, that means your recording wasn't good at all, and you're most likely not going to have a good mix. But we're going to go ahead and do the same thing with our vocals now. So it's going to be the same process. It's just going to be on vocals now. I'm done for now. No, just this is the South and the weather's so fucking friendly. It always hugs and the shit is so suffocating. And I know just the things that you be thinking. Yet this world could all be yours. And I do already have I already EQ'd it, because there's a part, I mean, I like the way it sounds, and so I don't want to lose that, but I'm just going to go ahead and redo the process so that you can see it as well. This is the South and the weather's so fucking friendly. It always hugs and the shit is so suffocating. And I know just the things that you be thinking. Yet this world could all be yours. This is the South and the weather's so fucking friendly. It always hugs and the shit is so suffocating. And I know just the things that you be thinking. Yet this world could all be yours. This is the South and the weather's so fucking friendly. It always hugs and the shit is so suffocating. And I know just the things that you be thinking. This world could all be yours. This is the South and the weather's so fucking friendly. It always hugs and the shit is so suffocating. And I know just the things that you be thinking. Yeah, this world could all be yours. This is the South and the weather's so fucking friendly. It always hugs and the shit is so suffocating. And I know just the things that you be thinking. Yet this world could all be yours. This is the South and the weather's so fucking friendly. It always hugs and the shit is so suffocating. And I know just the things that you be thinking. Yet this world could all be yours. This is the South and the weather's so fucking friendly. It always hugs and the shit is so suffocating. And I know just the things that you be thinking. Yet this
weather's so fucking friendly. It always hugs and the shit is so suffocating. And I know just the things that you be thinking, that this world could all be yours. This is the South and the weather's so fucking friendly. It always hugs and the shit is so suffocating. This is the South and the weather's so. This is the South. This is the. This is the South and the weather's so fucking friendly. It always hugs and the shit is so suffocating. This is the South and the weather's so fucking friendly. It always hugs and the shit is so suffocating. And I know just the things that you be thinking, yet this world could all be yours. This is the South and the weather's so fucking friendly. It always hugs and the shit is so suffocating. And I know just the things that you be thinking, yet this world could all be yours. This is the South and the weather's so fucking friendly. It always hugs and the shit is so suffocating. And I know just the things that you be thinking, yet this world could all be yours. This is the South and the weather's so fucking friendly. It always hugs and the shit is so suffocating. And I know just the things that you be thinking, yet this world could all be yours. This is the South and the weather's so fucking friendly. It always hugs and the shit is so suffocating. And I know just the things that you be thinking, yet this world could all be yours.
Right now, what I'm looking for is like what the average volume is, because for some reason, because it was a good recording, so there's not much we need to do to it, but just a few touch-ups. But right now, I'm trying to make sure that I'm bringing in the EQ bringing in the volume that I'm taking out. And it's like small volume, but I'm just making sure I'm bringing back what I took out.
This is the South and the weather's so fucking friendly. It always hugs and the shit is so suffocating. And I know just the things that you be thinking, yet this world could all be yours. This is the South and the weather's so fucking friendly. It always hugs and the shit is so suffocating. This is the South and the weather's so fucking friendly. This is the South and the weather's so fucking friendly. This is the South and the weather's so fucking friendly. It always hugs and the. This is the South and the weather's so fucking friendly. It always hugs and the shit is so suffocating. And I know just the things that you. This is the South and the weather's so fucking friendly. It always hugs and the shit is so suffocating. This is the South and the weather's so fucking friendly. This is the South and the weather's so fucking friendly. It always hugs and. This is the South and the weather's so fucking friendly. It always. This is the South and the weather's so fucking friendly. This is the South and the weather's so fucking friendly.
All right, now that we have that part done, and all of these are just going to fall in line as well, because I sent them all to the vocal chain, or the vocal bus, and so they're all being EQ'd at one time, which also saves a lot of CPU, and so they're all EQ'd and properly, and now let's just listen to it.
This is the South and the weather's so fucking friendly. It always hugs and the shit is so suffocating. And I know just the things that you be thinking, yet this world could all be yours. This is the South and the weather's so fucking friendly.
All right, now we're gonna take it out.
This is the South and the weather's so fucking friendly. It always hugs and the shit is so suffocating. And I know just the things that you be thinking, yet this world could all be yours. This is the South and the weather's so.
See how it all sounds muffled and pillowy, like nothing can really shine, nothing can really punch, like the kicks can't punch through that. But once you clean up everything,
this is the South and the weather's so fucking friendly. It always hugs and the shit is so suffocating. And I know
everything can shine. But this is the EQ process. and we can go ahead and get into the next thing. But of course,
This is the South and the weather's so fucking friend. It always hugs and the shit is so suffocating. And I
okay. I just realized I didn't have my mic set on, but basically, what I said was everything sounds muffled and pillowy whenever it's not EQ. Everything sounds kind of meshed and kind of clashing together. But once we EQ, everything's clear and everything's able to punch through, like the kicks are able to punch through. Unlike before, if it's not EQ, then it's all pillowy and it can't really get through that. It just sounds like, it's not really punching yet at all. But now that we EQ, everything's clear, everything can shine, and everything's punching. And this is EQ, and so now we can get into the next step. But of course,
this is the South and the weather's so fucking.
Alrighty, I'm done.